Hello and welcome back to Hoi 4, Equestria at War, the Kingdom of Aquilia, under King Morset, Discret. And in today's video, we're actually going to start out by skipping a little and going ahead and I focus.auto-completed them, just because we're going to go ahead and read this lore before we get into anything else, because with the path to try to be able to stop the revolution, I'm actually might not even be able to read all of these important lore pieces, so I'm gonna do it now so we have context. The revolution in Prydia. With the restoration of the Discrets and the fall of the Republic, the Duchy of Prydia was handed over to the uncle of the monarch, Baron Dennis Discret. The Baron himself was a pirate lord for years before he was called to action by his family during the Republican Revolution. In the following years, he asserted himself in a strong position politically by using the hyper-loyal pony minorities as a police force to control the city and influence his small army. During the Revolution, Prydia was under the control of the Communards, who formed the autonomous commune of Prydia, until Baron Dennis Discret sailed into the Gulf of Prydia and shelled the city with his navy. After a brief urban land battle, the pirate lord announced himself Baron of the city in the name of the king. The Communards and the Republicans who got captured were taken to the now infamous wall next to the center of the old city, where they were shot 5 by 5 until the Baron had run out of traitors to execute. In the new year of 1007, revolutionary fervor is now spreading across Aquilia once more. The Communards and their allies rally against the Baron and his forces. While the Baron himself braces for the second storm to crash into Aquilia, we must not let Prydia fall. And then we could do a couple things. None of these have descriptions though, so we're just not worried about that. The Revolution of Venovia. With the House of Discret now having reconciled their power over Aquilia, the title of Duke of Venovia was entitled to Gadafer Discret, a close relative to the Aquilian monarch, who believed him to be apt enough to administrate the relatively peaceful and culturally rich region of Venovia in his name. Not having to deal with the many issues that plagued the other vassals of Aquilia, the Duke, thanks to his charismatic nature, quickly appeased what remained of the old revolutionary movement, such as the Pisniks of Les Amis des ABC, or the militants from the Chevaliers of Fidelity Society. These aforementioned revolutionary movements, who had dominated the Venovian scene both politically and militarily during the Revolution, were now reduced to mere shadows of their former selves, and many griffins who were part of it soon departed to pursue an ordinary life under the banner of benevolent Duke Venovia, something that hadn't occurred in centuries. However, despite the Duke doing everything in his power to loosen the more repressive policies of the monarchy, some of the more radical agitators of the revolution still refused to resign their hopes of a republic, and there's still a chance that the revolutionary movement might take up arms a second time. And yep, no description or anything. The revolution in Westkeep. With the end of the revolution and the restoration of the Discrets, Westkeep would finally, after years and their period in the grips of anarchy and disorder, it was thanks to the hard work of General Thomas Riena, who reconquered the fallen province. In the years following the pacification of the new March of Westkeep was brought under the iron-fisted rule of the general. Any who threatened his rule met their end, noble and commoner alike. It was not until his death in 1006 that saw a major change in the political landscape of the March. The popular colonial Colette Soldi went out in the power struggle and put down supporters both for the return of anarchy and the nobles trying to restore Marquis Aurel Discret as the sole ruler of the realm. In spite of this, the MPA under the colonial Solid still has a fight to put out with from those who do not respect the wishes of Westkeep and the military, and paying lip service to the Discrets grows tiring with the constant annoyances that are the so-called elite they are forced to play nice with. Perhaps the coming storm will allow Westkeep to finally shed the corpse of monarchism to make Aquilia strong, or maybe the Marquis can reclaim his throne from the clutches of the military dictatorship. The revolution in Rila. During the Revolution of 980, Rila was widely known as one of the main nexuses of revolutionary activity within the borders of Aquilia as a whole, and was home to not only many of the most prominent advocates of the revolution, but also some of the most extreme clubs and societies. While most revolutionaries outside of Rila banded together in an attempt to overcome the royalists, the revolutionary clubs have only done so in name, forming the Committee of Public Safety, led by a council of 4 directors. However, behind the scenes, the ideological contrasting clubs of Rila fought and backstabbed each other in an attempt to gain total dominance over Aquilia itself. The political intrigue was not only directly responsible for the disappearance of some of the most distinguished revolutionary clubs, such as the Federalist Policers and the Moderate Maras, or the Constitutional Monarchy advocating Morales, but it was also responsible for the failure of the Rilan Revolution as a whole. Despite these serious blows having deorganized and sent the Rilan Revolutionary Front crumpling along with the remaining revolutionary forces of Rila, Michael Discret is privately a Republican sympathizer and would not hesitate to put the needs of the people over the needs of a select few, though he would only agree to relinquish over the extremist Cordials Club were to be shattered. And there we go. Those are the 4 those are our 4 subjects and the revolutions they went through. And now there will be no quick move through because we're loading our game, and that's extra editing, and I've already done a lot of editing. I know at this point you've probably already only seen like 1 or 2 of those videos on the other nations, but I did so much editing for doing all those, and I am not doing more right now. I hate editing. It's my least favorite part of YouTube in general. There's no part of YouTube in fact, it's honestly the only part of YouTube I don't genuinely just like. I love doing YouTube. I just hate doing editing. Editing sucks so much. But anyways, a brother in need. His Majesty's brother, Duke Michael, is facing Republican meddling as well. It would usually behoove us to be mindful of the Duke's privileges, but at a time like this, family must come before pride. Yeah, I've already read this. Law, into the speech. Yeah, I already read that. I'm pretty sure. If I haven't, oh well. But you know, I'm pretty sure I've read that event very recently. I'm pretty sure I read it in the Kingdom of Aquilia last video. New Maryland seeks petition. Oh. The exiled colonial's demise. News have come from Vizima. The body of Jean Petier was found this morning in the Vizima countryside, or cemetery. That's very different. A bullet lodged in his skull. While some Republicans in exile swiftly claimed it was a monarchist assassination, the truth quickly emerged. The gun used was found nearby, and Patissar's corpse was laying next to Madame Marquise de Benegrief's grave, his well-known mistress. It was quickly concluded that he committed suicide out of grief for his lover. Jean Patissar was one of the few military colonels who lived through the revolution without getting compromised with either side. After the terror, he cultivated links with the Republicans who saw it in him one of the hopes for the Second Revolution, while at the same time gaining significant influence within the army. His Republican dealings, sincere or not, eventually leaked, and the government prepared for an insurgency. The insurgency never materialized as Patissar got spooked and fled the country with his mistress. His popularity collapsed after that. He will now forevermore be known as the colonel who lacked the courage, but not love. Alas, we are robbed from punishing this traitor ourselves. Whatever. He's dead now. We'll just have to move on. The appellation de origine affinte. After years of careful negotiations between our Ministry of Agriculture, farmers, and wine distributors, our government has established the APA. The APA creates geographical areas in which wine production, respecting a certain tradition of craft and vine cultivation, will receive an official label with a specific name. These names include the famous Chateaubriand's Côtes de Vizima, and Relac, and whatever those are. Westkeep and Roy. Wines sold under these names would be officially authentified and could be consumed with complete trust in its Aquilian quality. The APA system has been combined with additional tariffs on import wines to further favor our local production. Various institutions such as the Académie Royale du Vin Equity, the Revue des Vins, or the Comité Royal de Propagande Viticole have also been founded to both control and promote Aquilian wines. For decades now, the wine trade has been a significant loss in both quality and price. While some applauded the second part, it has proven to be a disaster for our farmers and the many vineyards owners. Some called the APA system a draconic measure. However, Jean Capus, who has led the movement in favor of it, painted a dire picture of our wine production. He has talked about fine Aquilian wine being mixed with poor wines mass-produced in Wingbardy, New Maryland, or Toulouse, and sold as Aquilian or poor wine spiked with chemicals and alcohol. All products which would only serve to tarnish real Aquilian vintage. Some foreign wine traders have strongly protested against the mover, calling it discriminatory and arbitrary, and communists have attacked the APA as bourgeoisie construct designed to protect noble vineyards at the expense of the average gifts. Sante et in Aquileia. Sizzles vos plate. Something like that. Which we've actually seen this event a lot of times, but I mean, I'm gonna read it at least once for this main one. Each one of these got it every time, so I've already seen the event 8 times. So, yeah. Okay. Now we're not getting anything here. Or, well, we can't get anything here, but we're not getting anything. Everything is a no. We're not upgrading you. We're not doing anything like that. Nothing. We're doing a state visit to Rila immediately. Now, the other one we need is Westkeep. And Westkeep, yeah, Westkeep's over here. So Westkeep we go. Because the other ones should be fine on their own. So we just gotta focus on these. If we do that, we should be fine. We need to do it immediately as things pop up that we can do. Immediately. Search far and wide. No stone must be left unturned as we hunt down the revolutionaries. What are you asking me? No trading with Skyfall either for now. They are likely infesting every last part of the nation. Therefore, we shall give chase wherever we must, including Venovia and Westkeep. Thankfully, our loyal subjects there will be of great aid. Yes. We only have loyal subjects in our nation, no disloyal people, in the entirety of our great nation, and I know that to be true. Stop trying to revolt. Be loyal. Be loyal. You hear me? You hear me, Leela? Rila? Break up the guilds in Vizima. Today, the Glassmakers Guild, known as the Corporation des Veries de Vizima, has broken up after several heated meetings. The news has come as a shock to many Vizima, as the corporation was one of the oldest institutions and a shining beacon of its culture. The guild used to assemble both workers and owners of the glass industry in a spirit of craft-gift solidarity. A throwback to an era where ideas of class and social questions were unheard of. Some in say the breakup was long overdue, as the glass industry owners were becoming more and more powerful within it. The traditional solidarity and craftsmanship culture were withering under the strain caused by mechanization after the revolution. The writings of Caramel Marx also left their mark. For years now, glassmakers were increasingly identifying as proletarian workers whose interests were fundamentally at odds with the wealthier guild members. For a time, guild members attempted to soften the divide by making deals to improve working condition. Unfortunately for them, the ideological radicalization of the time gradually degraded the willingness to make such piecemeal contracts. Both workers refused to adhere to the system, and glassworks owners caused to rely on the apprenticeship system and started to use wage labor under contract outside of the guild system. The remaining members saw the writing on the wall and voted to disband. The first vote to pass the guild assembly in 2 years. Another victim of this era of radicals and iconoclasts. A lot of big words. Immediately. Do it. More assaulting revolutionary strongholds. Do it. Now. We must be fast. We cannot delay. Adios, adios. Glassmakers strike of the same place. A major strike erupted in the fabric di Aquileia in Vizima. The company is known for its difficult working conditions and cynical methods used by its owner, Charles Desvasses. The fabric very notably pays its workers weekly in bars around the factory, which are owned by Desvasses himself. The system caused terrible situation of grifts drinking their paycheck and subverting commandeer between workers into a vicious circle of alcoholism. The fabric's founder, the industrialist Charles Desvasses, left the glassmaker guild 4 years ago and is now leading voice against communism in Vizima. Refusing to negotiate, he has aggressively recruited Severian pony refugees to replace the strikers. He also employed the service of a Severian paramilitary group composed of former soldiers and policemen who fought the Stalingrad Revolution. These ponies were tasked with protecting the workers and disbanding the picket lines around the factory. The strikers obviously reacted with anger and fights have become a daily occurrence around the factory. Worrying. Yes, but not as worrying as reinforcing the Rillan garrison. Go, 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 go. Wheeler. And then the other one, Whiskey. Whiskey, go. We need you too. We need you two to be better. Man, this just keeps going. The Viziman bloodbath. The strike of the Fabrique Vizier de Quil in Vizima has taken a turn for the worse. Fights became so violent that the local police was forced to act as a peacekeeping force between the Severian strikebreakers and the strikers as their fights extended beyond the limits of the factories. Sabotage attempts in the Fabrique caused ever more damage, and the bars owned as Devises became a target of arsonists. Yesterday, it all came to a head when a team of strikers stormed Charles Desvasses' mansion on the outskirts of town. Armed with smuggled guns, they massacred the ponies protecting Desvasses and took him hostage. In a moment of lucidity, the strikers allowed Desvasses' family to flee the scene, claiming they were only interested in forcing Desvasses to finally agreeing to a fair deal. The police was alerted and quickly surrounded the mansion. Negotiations fell apart as the police unit was led by a political friend of Desvasses, whose emotions and anti-communist opinions got the better of him. Shots were fired, and the police stormed the building. It is unclear what happened. The chaotic scene left the strikers, the Severian pony guards, several servants accused of helping the hostage makers, 5 police grifts, and Desvasses himself dead. The bloodbath caused the strike to fall apart after their strikers split between supporters and opponents of the attack. The leaders of the strike and supporters were arrested under charge of terrorism. They all preferred to break than bend. Yeah, seems like it. Colonel Solidi is as reliable as the tides themselves and always has been. His Majesty has personally written to the Colonel to thank him for his service to in the past, as well as in coming times, and the good Colonel is more than ready to serve once more. I'm sure he is. He's a fine man. A real fine man. I'm joking. I'm joking. Stop trying to rebel. You guys are jerks. The death of Marshal Berthelot, the griffin most responsible for the destruction of the First Aquilian Republic and the restoration of Borset Discret to the throne of Aquilia, passed away today at the age of 87. The old marshal was found dead in the manor in Vizima on one of his servants. A quick examination that proved that Berthelot had passed away naturally, and a funeral procession was organized by his family and friends. Although Berthelot is seen as a hero by some Aquilians, the majority of our people consider him a scoundrel and a lackey of the Discret family, thus making both him and his death a deeply dividing matter. Rest in peace, old friend. Rest in peace. You really worked hard to save the Empire. Thank you. Thank you, old friend. You guys do whatever. Actually, let me see. Do any of these give political power? Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go this way first. Okay. I just need to make sure I don't miss any of them at all. I can't be late. I can't be late for a very important date. I can't be late. I can't be late for a very important date. Arm the loyalists. Many are still of sound mind and willing to fight for the king. By His Majesty's orders, we shall make sure that there will be plenty of weapons available for those who are willing to defend the crown. Yes, of course. It is only right. Okay, I should be alright for now. Send in the Shillets. Like a shadow in the night, the Shillet is stalking the streets of Lurila to track down and deal with any prominent Republicans they can find. They know well that killing a snake is best done by cutting its head, our little owls. So yeah, if I remember right, what we need to do is this, and then that'll give us just enough time to do this and this. So we're not doing this, but we will be doing this and these two. Because, yeah, that'll give us just enough time to do all that. So, and basically now, at this point, all our political power is staying there. We can't spend a single bit of it, no matter what. And we're watching to see if any of them go below. Because right now, 7.5 plus that would get us above 50. 10 plus 41 would get us above 50. So right now, we're at an amount where we would do it. But we have to keep an eye, because the moment it would go below, we have to start putting political power and keep it back above. Because that's what we need to do. We're making sure that by the end, we'll be able to bounce it back up if necessary at any point. That's what we're doing right now. So right now, we're good at the moment. I am always so nervous I'm gonna mess something up when I do this, when I go through this, when I go through either side, but this side's a lot more difficult. I've played Aquileia so many times. This is not a nation that I have there is not a single path I haven't done for Aquileia. Yes, even every one of the Republican paths. I've done all of them. I haven't read a lot. I don't read. I know it might seem like I read a lot, which I do in these, but I don't read much at all when I'm in single player. So like even these paths, like I didn't know a lot of this info, even though I've played this. The King's Path, I've probably played like 4 or 5 times, just the King. But I've never read any of this. An invitation. A messenger from the Griffonian Empire has just reached the court of King Morset Discret, delivering a formal invitation from Duchess Gabrielle of Eagleclaw. It appears that despite a rivalry with the Empire, King Morset Discret has been invited to the Imperial Banquet over in Griffinheim, an ancient Griffin tradition that dates back over 100 years. Many a dozen nobles have been invited, and we could use this opportunity to, just for one night, forget our differences and grudges with the Imperialists. It's all in good spirit, I suppose. We don't dine with Imperial scum. Political power is tasty. That's all. It's always nice when they do that, because them doing that path, if you go with that option, they lose political power, and you get political power. It's just pure awesomeness for you only, and not them, which is great. All right, so far we've gotten lucky, because I think there's an element of luck to it. Bad. Because, yeah, they can do that more, like, I think they can do that more often or less often. And it kind of depends. So there is kind of a luck element to it, which is annoying, but I believe there is. I can't say that's true, but, like, playing the other nations, I think it's not luck per se. I think it just depends on what these guys are spending their political power on. Because are they going to spend their political power on trying to screw you over? Or are they going to spend the political power on not trying to screw you over and just being chill? That's the real question about it. Okay. Well, last episode was a little short, so this episode I might go a little long, and we're gonna go ahead and kill off this revolution, or hopefully just pacify the revolution. Yeah. If you want to see me read the Blue Moon Festival event, I read it like the first Griffin Nation we played. I'm not reading it again. If there's repeat events, that you see all the time, I'm not reading it every time they pop up. That's just not gonna happen. Alright. Alright, we're doing it so far. No. No, you cannot. You may not go down just before we're out of time. You may not. That is not allowed. Alright, at this point, don't need to do another focus. Oh, I never even read this one. They claim to be the loyal servants of the nation, but some among the movement patriot Aquilia seem to have forgotten that the Aquilia has always been His Majesty. It is time to see to it that the MPA are cleansed of this rot. And before we continue, let me go and read through everything we're not going to do. We cannot forget the many ponies who live in our lands. Many of them have their ancestry in Aquilia, where the monarchy is as adored as majesties among us, and ever since they settled here, they have been known as loyal subjects. We will make sure that when the hour is dark, our little ponies will come to our aid. His Majesty's good cousin has long been more keen on perfecting the art of wine than the art of statecraft. Pleasant pursuit, to be sure, but there is no time for such things now, and His Majesty remind the good Duke of this. Duke Gadiver is many things, but above all else is a festive and pleasant griffin. Princess Vivienne has convinced her father that to be allowed to undertake a mission to go visit the Duke and help show the royal faith in her reign. Somewhat reluctantly, His Majesty has agreed. Baron Denise is the brother of the king, and one of His Majesty's most capable and ruthless loyalists. We are thankful for this, as it means that in order to quash the narcissist rebellion in Prydia, we only need to trust in Denise. As His Majesty hoped, his brother has responded frankly and clearly. All he requires to burn out this rot. Likely literally knowing the good Baron is His Majesty's approval. His Majesty sees no reason not to give it. During the last revolution, Baron Dennis Discret did not hesitate to bring the wrath of Arturius upon the traitors, and time has not dulled his claws one bit. Prydia runs red with blood, as the Baron is acting with commendable zeal to crush any signs of republicanism. The Prydian wing of the MPA is a singular committed force. The Baron has kept them on tight leash and made sure they're marching to the royal drumbeat from early on, and if they are given the backing needed, Prydia will more or less handle itself for us. Ah, yeah. The end of the revolution. Despite their plots and schemes, the revolutionary plot failed before it could truly begin. Thanks to decisive action by our king and our vassals, we have managed to nip the revolution in the bud. Aquilia stands firm today as loyalists won out among the people. See, it takes until like less than 10 days left to succeed as the king, but if you want to succeed as the revolution, you can succeed like so easily. Like you can literally concede with or you can win with like half the time left. Like it's so much easier. But this one, the most consistent strategy, you'll have like 10 days left, and that's the most consistent you'll be getting out there. Like there's nothing more consistent than that. That's the best you're gonna get, and that's as simple as it is. Like, phew, but we got it. And Skyfall accepts. News from the great city of Skyfall. Our offer has been accepted. New wealth should begin to flow to our nation soon. Woo. Woo, trading with Skyfall. Yay. If we're getting it this early, it's worth getting, even though we're going to attack them later. It gives us enough benefit throughout the early game that it's worth getting anyways. But anyways, this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And, as always, peace.